we may have Officer Madrigal.
At this time, I ask you to please join me by bowing your heads for a moment of silence to honor Officer Jeffrey Nakwa and Officer Santiago Jim Franco and all officers who have given the ultimate sacrifice to their communities around this great nation. Thank you. Good morning, my name is Jose Madrigal, and I am the Delano Police Officer Association President. Let me start off by saying thank you and good morning to Dr. Greg Hirokawa, H.A. Sala, Attorney at Law, Law Offices of David Torres, Rosalina Rivera and the Elementary School District, and a special thanks to Julia Ortega for helping organize the event. We are honored and humbled that the community of Delano would choose to honor us in this manner. I am especially honored to be here speaking at today's events. We are at a day and age where law enforcement isn't what it used to be. When I started a few years ago, an officer wearing a badge and uniform stood for truth, justice, and the American way. There was a certain respect for the uniform itself. Now, due to the new era where everything is being recorded on cell phones and spread quickly on social media, law enforcement is at many times seen as the enemy, when this is not the case. There have been accusations by some these days who see law enforcement as bullies, simply for enforcing laws. However, what they sometimes fail to see is that we do not create the laws. We only enforce the laws for the good of our communities. Enforcing the law is only a small part of what we do. If all we did was enforce the law, we would be useless at least 3/4 of the calls that we take. From the very day each officer takes their oath, they take on a new role in their life. They take on a huge burden and responsibility to bring righteousness and law to a city. We lose our individual identity, and from that moment forward, we are identified as law enforcement officers. We will be referred to as law enforcement officers every day for the rest of our career. And when we retire, we will still be known as former police officers. As officers, we have been dispatched to homes in the middle of the night during unfortunate events, when someone's loved one has no sign of life. And we put forth all our efforts to try and revive them. Sadly, sometimes it's to no avail. This isn't enforcing the law, but it is law enforcement. We are the first to arrive at the scene of medical emergencies and begin CPR on a heart attack victim. We have tried to stop the bleeding of someone who has been injured. This isn't enforcing the law, but it is law enforcement. We respond to traffic accidents, to tend to people's broken bodies before doing anything else. And when things don't turn out as we would like, it will be our job to visit the next of kin and deliver the heartbreaking news. This isn't law enforcement either, but it is, this isn't enforcing the law, but it is law enforcement. We arrive to homes during domestic violence cases when a spouse is broken physically and emotionally. And we will do what we can to comfort scared children who are affected by the violence. We will help the elderly to their feet when they have fallen and cannot get up. And we will be called to help get cats out of trees. The list is endless, and only a fraction of it is enforcing the law. But all we do, all of it, is law enforcement. We all took the job because we want to help people and give back to our community. Whatever it was in our lives that persuaded us to do it, to some, it may have been a tragic event in our lives. To some, watching a cop or detective show. To some, it was just loving the fact that officers wear the badge and carry a gun every day. Whatever the reason, we all have the same ultimate goal, and that is to combat evil and help those in need. We are members of this great community. Members who realize that sometimes there are things that need to be done that are not easy to do. We have the stomach to do the job. We need to have the stomach to do the job and have the want and need to protect our family, our friends, and our neighbors. We took this job with pride and honor for our family, our friends, and our neighbors. We know that they are our greatest assets. They are our greatest assets because they will be there to support us when things are bad. And I can guarantee you that most officers in here have had bad times while doing this job. We have been threatened. We have been punched. We have been kicked. We have been spit upon. We have been bit. We have been shot at for doing our job. And yet every officer still gets up every day, puts on this uniform, this badge, the vest, and our duty belt, and do it again and again every single day. Officers are on the streets in 110 heat, wearing full uniform. When it's foggy, when it's cold, no matter the weather, no matter what is going on in the city, the men and women serving this community will continue to do so because it is our job, it is our calling, because it is what we do, and it is who we are. When I was a rookie officer, I remember a veteran taught me that I should always treat people as I would want my family or kids to be treated. What he meant was that they should be treated fair with respect and with tender kindness that we would want to give to our loved ones. When I was a training officer, I continued this tradition and told my trainees the same thing, because although he or she may not know the person they are dealing with on that day, they are family, they are friends, and neighbors of the community that we serve. But I have also told my trainees that when you do have to enforce the law, be firm and fair, and remember that the community that we serve includes everyone. I have seen you officers respond to an elderly person's home when there has been no emergency at all, and that person just wants someone to talk to. I saw that officers spend a few minutes with them, asking them about various things, pictures on the wall. I have seen officers deliver bad news to loved ones and take time to see that the family needs are met before leaving them to grieve on their own. To the city of Delano, I'll tell you that the city is very well represented. Because of the officers we have entrusted to look out for us, that are willing to respond to our everyday crisis, they are sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, moms and dads, husbands, wives, and neighbors. They are Delano police officers, and they will face the very danger that the community is facing without hesitation. And to you, my fellow officers, continue to do the amazing job that you have been doing. When you leave here, go back to your community and enforce the law, but remember that enforcing the law is only part of the job. The rest of the job is to be good family, friends, and neighbors to the community that we serve. We are the thin blue line. We stand between all that is good and all that is evil. We would all make the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that this line is not broken. The thin blue line is a lot thicker than what you might expect. In fact, it is as thick as we in law enforcement make it. And to our wonderful families, we say this: we are sorry for missing your birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving dinners, and not being able to take you trick-or-treating, or having to cancel the family vacation, for waking you up in the middle of the night when we are called out for emergencies. I'm sorry you have to be quiet on Saturday mornings while watching Saturday morning cartoons because daddy or mommy worked all night. We ask that you please try to understand that we do this job because we have a duty to our community, not because you are less important, but because we are the police. And we care about everyone, and we do what is right. Without the law, there will be no balance between good and evil. To my children, Olivia, Jacob, and Melina, I love you very much. I thank you, and I'm sure the city of Delano thanks you for sharing me with them. At this time, I ask that you please join me and give a round of applause for the families in attendance, because they are our backbone, our motivation, our sanity, and most important, they are everything that is good in our lives. So thank you. In closing, I would like to remind you of something Jesus Christ said. He said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." God bless you all, and thank you again for everybody for coming here and making this possible. Thank you.
Please stand and join us for the National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through